Hi guys, welcome to the video. Hope you're doing well. In this one we're going to create a modern little FAQ section where we've got some down arrows next to the question, and when we click down an answer is revealed and an active class is added onto the div with question in it. Okay, let's jump straight into the HTML. So we've got index.html and we're just going to start with a boilerplate as always. And in here, let's just put FAQ for title. In the body, we're going to have H1 with our frequently asked questions. And let's just open this up with live server. Just give it a minute to load. There we go. Let's get rid of that. And below that H1 we'll have a div with an FAQ container. This is where all of our FAQ cards are going to go. So the FAQ cards are just going to have a div with the class of FAQ, and let's manually give the first one a class of active, and this is something we'll be changing in the JavaScript later. So we've got that, and then in there we'll have a h3 with the class of FAQ title. FAQ title, and then in there we're just going to say question. Okay, and then you can edit that to be any frequently asked question if you're making a website, and then a paragraph with the class of FAQ text, and in here we'll just have an answer. The next thing is underneath the paragraph, and this is going to be our buttons. So we'll have button with the class of FAQ toggle, and in here we're going to have some icons, and we're going to get these from Font Awesome, so class of FAS, and then for the down arrow it's FA-chevron down, and underneath there an icon with the class of FAS and FA times for the X arrow. Okay, and that's all we're going to have in our FAQ container. So if I save that, we'll see that's what we're after there. And then you can copy this down as many times as you want and change the questions to whatever you like. So I'm going to just put 5 or so in just now, and I'll get rid of the active class on all of them apart from the first, so we just have one that we can reference when we're doing the styling later. I've added quite a few here, maybe too many. Oops, there we go. Okay, lots of FAQs here. So for these icons we need Font Awesome CDN, so let's just look for Font Awesome CDN. And we should be able to get a link from here. You can get it from the Font Awesome website as well, but you have to enter your email address and things, so I'll just grab it from here, and there we go. That should work. So we're just going to put it in to our head with a link, and if we reload now we see those Font Awesome icons. Okay, and that's it for our HTML. We just need to add a link to our link. Not sure why that didn't select, but we want style.css, and then down at the bottom we're going to, just before the bottom of the body, we're going to have a script, and that will have a source of script.js. Okay, let's style this a bit in our CSS, make it look a bit nicer. So the first thing we want is on everything we just want box size in border box, and on body we will say the font family is sans serif, and the background color, we'll give it a dark or light grey, sorry, F0, F0, F0. There we go. And H1, which is just the frequently asked questions at the top, let's give that margin 50 pixels top, 0 left and right, and 30 pixels in the bottom. And we're just going to text a line to the center. Oops. Text align center on that. There we go. Next thing is FAQ container, and this had all of our container cards in it. So we're just going to give it a max width of 600 pixels so it doesn't stretch too much on larger screens, and we'll say margin 0 auto, so that should center things in it when we increase it past the 600 pixels. So you can see there, if it's past 600 pixels, the cards here, which are 600 pixels with the text on the left, are centered within that FAQ container. The next thing is class of FAQ, and this was our individual cards, so a wee bit more styling on these. Background color, let's have them transparent. So this is before we add a class of active. We'll have 1 pixel solid border, and we'll make that a slightly darker grey, so 9 F A4 A8. Oops. Border radius, give it a little bit of a corner, 10 pixels, margin 20 pixels 0, padding 30 pixels all around, position relative so that we can center position things absolute within that, like the buttons, the icons, overflow hidden, and we'll just add a transition so that when we expand the card it doesn't jump. There we go. That's giving us a bit of an outline around the cards. And now when we have active on that, we want to change the background color to triple F, just white, and we'll give it a bit of a shadow as well so it stands out in the page. So 0, 3 pixels, 6 pixels, RGBA, black, and an opacity of 0.1, and then 0, 3 pixels, 6 pixels again, RGBA 000 0.1. Okay, so the same on the bottom and sides. Oops. I'll just Alt Z so that'll wrap around and you can still see it. And then FAQ active before and FAQ active after. This is where we're going to add those speech bubbles when you click on it. So for the content, we're going to use a font awesome number, so F075, and that's our speech bubble. Font family will be the font awesome 5.3, and if we save that, you can see those little speech bubbles there. So that's before the FAQ active and after, but we're going to position these absolute so that we can move them into the correct position. We'll just make them a bit bigger as well, so font size 7 rem. What's happened there? It looks like our font awesome CDN's just stopped working. Oh, there we go. It was just taking a while to load. So font size 7 rem, and opacity 0.2. I'm going to move them both 20 pixels from the top and 20 pixels from the left, and we'll position them at the back, so z index of 0. Okay, so they're both on top of each other at the moment. Now we want to target specifically the FAQ active before and position this one slightly different so they're not on top of each other. So let's say top minus 10 pixels, left minus 30 pixels, so just shifting it up and to the right, and then transform, rotate Y 180 degrees, just flip it in the Y axis. There we go. And we want to add some colours to those, so let's say for this one, let's give it a bit of a green colour, 2ECC71, and for this one we will give it a blue colour, which is 3498dB. There we go. Okay, that's those icons done, and now we're just going to style the text within that container a little bit. So the FAQ title, give it a bit of margin on the top, and the FAQ text, or the answer, we want it to display none. We don't want it in these ones until active's added, and when it is, we'll just give it a bit of margin on the top. There we go. So it's display none on all of them at the moment, but we'll change that so it displays on the active. Let's say FAQ.active, and we want to target specifically FAQ text, and we'll display block. There we go, you can see it's on the active one. Okay, let's style the toggle buttons now. FAQ toggle, background color transparent. We don't want a border on that, we want a pointer when we go over it, so cursor, pointer, display flex, and align items center, justify content center. Oh sorry, that's disappeared completely. I'll give you a second to get that down, and then font size 16 pixels, padding 0, position absolute, 30 pixels from the top, 30 pixels from the right. Oops. And we're going to also make the height 30 pixels and the width 30 pixels, lots of 30 pixels. Okay, one last thing, we just give it border radius 50%, so it's a circle. So that's just a circle that we can click on. We can't actually see it because there's no border. When we click it at the moment, it comes up with an outline. So let's change that. FAQ toggle, when it's in its focused state, outline of 0. Now specifically targeting the cross FA times, we want display none unless it's active. And then when it's active, we'll get that FA times, and we'll change the color to white. Display block. Okay, FAQ active again, this time FAQ toggle and FA chevron down. We want display none. Sorry, let's make this black. There we go. Oops. Okay, and finally, let's look at FAQ active, FAQ toggle, and we'll give that a background color of light grey, so 9FA4A8. There we go. Okay, actually let's change this back to white. Now we'll be able to see it. There we go. So that's our toggle button, and we'll change the JavaScript in a second, so when we click on that it'll add an active class. So that's all we need to do really in the JavaScript, and then it'll be running. So script.js, and nothing too complicated here. We're just going to bring in the toggle button. Oops. Laptop's just frozen. There we go. Oh no, yeah. Const togglers, and we'll bring that in using document.query selector all, and then a class of FAQ toggle. And what we want to do is on both of those add an event listener. So that's bringing in sorry, it should be togglers dot for each, and then we're going to add an event listener. So it's bringing in each of these toggle buttons, and we're just going to say if that's clicked, so add event listener, listening for a click, and when that happens we'll just use an arrow function to say toggle.parent node .class list .toggle. So the parent node, we're going to be toggling the div with the class of FAQ, and we're going to toggle active, so if it's there take it away, if it's not there add it. And there we go, that's it working. So you can add whatever you want to these questions, add it into an FAQ section of the website, and it's ready to use. Thank you very much for watching the video, hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and please subscribe and like. Thank you.